Hey, howdy, hi. Apologize. I don't apologize. Well, this is the state of self that you get today. I am smoking a joint. It is not even noon yet. I've finished my taxes just about start to finish, like going through every single receipt, every single everything. I had a lot of like my income already written down because of like my receipt books and whatnot, and just kind of like going through that. But it was a lot. It was a lot this morning. And now I get back to building stock. Today is earrings and sprays and bath salts. It's going to be a bit of a crammer. But it's kind of what I wanted to pop in and talk about today. Was I know I talk about a lot more like serious heavy topics and like deeper dives into self, but today I really just wanted to highlight the process of my job, my art, my business. And I got the house to myself. It's quiet. To get a little bit of a break before I have to start kind of baking food and stuff because I often forget that that's a thing that I need to do. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of pop in and talk while I work and take my 2 second smoke break. One of the biggest things I think I've been reflecting on this year is how from year to year the process gets so much easier. And it's not because it's an easy process to begin with at all. It's everything about this is difficult regardless of how long I've been doing it. Prices go up on everything every year. Um, Commitments are just as hard to maintain, especially whenever my body is, well, and my body's a lot healthier this year, but the last 2 years my body was really struggling. And also just keeping up with the workload. Keeping up with the workload is a lot. And that's something that I don't think a lot of people consider whenever they're just stepping into the hippie hut, stepping into humble beginnings and being like and seeing all the handmade goods. You can fathom it, like you can think about it, but it's something that's very difficult to fathom. Like picking up a crocheted top and being like, oh, how long did this take? And if I say like, oh, I summarize it in a day, it takes me about a day to make. That's okay. So like you're sitting down for a day, like maybe watching a couple movies and crocheting, but it's usually about 10 to 14 hours of consistent like crochet. And so for most pieces, especially the ones that take 15 to a couple hundred hours, those ones I tend to put down and pick up and put down and pick up. And so a lot of my friends, whenever they see me out in the wild or in my in my own habitat, they often see me with a crochet hook in hand and just kind of like as I'm talking, just doing my thing, and or I'll be sketching, or I'll be doing something, anything with my hands. Always with my hands. And most of my crafts I can kind of take with me, like embroidery I can take with me, even some of my clay shaping stuff. Like there's lots of good stuff that I can do. Oh, he's trying to get a hold of me. Everybody, that's okay. One of the things that keeps this whole thing going, though, I think, is just the absolute consistency, like the want to participate. And that's something that I think, especially in the era of Temu and Amazon, we forget how long it takes to make things, to do things, to process things. And for, in the era of free 1 day shipping, or like sometimes you can even get it within the day. That's fucking wild to me. But sorry, I'm still sick. In dealing with that, we forget that artists who make things by hand cost a bit for shipping. They require that extra time. I like my turnover rate for a custom piece is weeks. Weeks. Unless it's something I can kind of like, earrings pieced together in a day. It's very difficult for me to get something done in a very short amount of time. I've had people, and granted, like people that didn't understand the process or what they were asking for, and I had undercut myself. And those were times where I really had to kind of learn, like, okay, I cannot take on big custom works whenever I'm in my full season. I can't take on big custom works and price it for something that I would if I just made something and priced it. It's very difficult in general to try and price my art, and at times I feel like I'm asking too much, or I'm not asking enough. And that is a big part of where, like, I'm kind of grateful sitting at this year now, being year 3, seeing like, okay, no, I can ask for my worth. I can show up and be like, no, this item took me 5 hours and $30 to make, so it costs $60, $70. You know what I mean? And that's okay. That's how it should be, because that's how artisanal goods are made. And that's why we buy not just local, but we'll buy handmade from those individuals. And it's not saying that we need to do that 24/7, because we'd all be fucking broke. But it's to say, if we're trying to um like, anytime I'm spoiling myself, like, I have a lot of artist friends being in the communities that I'm in. I have a lot of farmer friends and a lot of friends, like mycologists that grow mushrooms, and, amazingly talented friends in so many areas of life. And so whenever I have that extra income and I'm really looking to, like, kind of treat myself, you know what I mean? I'll go to my friend's coffee shop and I will pay. I'll tip, so it's like a $10 to $12 fucking coffee, or like I'll pay that extra money for something another one of my friends made from that place to support both. Or I will, like, if I have friends that do lino print, like lino cutting, and like, yeah, I'm an artist. I in theory could do that and make it myself and do this, and it's like, or I can support that friend who had that amazing idea and that put that fucking exponential amount of time into that project. And I can support them so that they can keep doing that. It makes sense to me. I have a lot of friends' art, even actually. This one right behind me, that canvas, I call it the Bloody Goddess. I fucking love her. One of my dearest friends made it, and it wasn't made for me. It was something she'd made. I also tattoo for a living. I told her, I'm like, I would be down to trade for tattoo time for some of your artwork, because I've been following her for years. Like, before we'd even become friends, I loved her artwork. I loved how she expressed herself so raw. Like, the texture, and I know you can't see much of it, but like that texture, the color, the glitter, ugh, drives me wild. I love it. I love it so much. And I got that one and a couple other pieces from her in trade for a tattoo, and she still tipped me $100, because she's fucking awesome like that, and I love her. And she also values art. She also bought one of the clay pieces I'd made. It was like this beautiful fairy with like crystals coming out of her, made out of clay and crystals and some fabric that I had kicking around. And she I had that piece for like almost the whole season last year, and that's about like 5 to 6 months, and it hadn't sold yet, so I dropped her price. I was kind of, and again, like, trying to find that value market, like that value bracket, and I dropped her price from like 111, because I like those matchy numbers, to 88. And my friend Sherry had come in, and she's like, no, absolutely not. She had a little baggie, like a sandwich baggie, with the cash, the exact cash, $111, because she's like, no, I don't want to buy it on sale. It's not a sale for me. She's like, I want to give you what she is worth, because I want to own her. Like, I want to have her, and I put this money aside so that I can do that. I'm sorry, what? And it was moments like that and friends like that that had really kind of shown me, like, no, 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 you are your worth. You need to be your worth, and you need to be willing to kind of state your value, state your price, name your fucking price. That is so important. It is so important. And I still feel guilty at times for charging what I do. The rent for the hippie hut and the rent for my insurance, like my business insurance, both went up this year. They like, last year I was paying about 400, and this year I am paying very close to 500 a month. And it's difficult because I have to account for that in everything, because my product goes up. These silly little charm things go up. Like, everything raises that little bit. And so, and having done my taxes today, especially, I get a very real glimpse of what that looks like. Also, major pat on my back, like, because I saw what my numbers were last year on paper. Guys, like, this is a literal, like, I made a living off of this. I like better than I did while I was working part-time or while I was stuck as a single mom on OW. Like, and granted, I've thought to myself a couple times, like, oh, this works because I have my partner splitting everything with me, which, yes, like, that is one of the main reasons this works, is because I don't have to go work a 9 to 5 to be able to afford my day to day. And thankfully, for those 6 months where I really couldn't afford to split on anything with Kyle, like for our house, like for our apartment, I like he took over. And that was the first six, like, or that was the second 6 months of our relationship. Like, that was the first year in. And the 2 years since that, like, I've been good. I've been able to provide and meet halfway for everything, which is good. And that's something that I never really fathomed having come from this. I've dreamt of it. I've manifested it. And obviously, like, I'm sitting in it now. And so like, the manifestation has kind of come to fruition. And even more so now. Like, my next big thing for this year was very much so travel and art. That is my two. I want adventure now that I am healthy enough again to experience adventure. And I want art. I want to share it. I want to explore it. I want to bring it with me while I'm on adventures and vacations so that way I can make more and it can just keep carrying itself. And I am so, so absurdly excited that this is my life, even on the days like today where I am crammed with admin work and I have to do like little charm earring things, you know what I mean? Instead of doing the cool paintings and big, awesome whatevers. But these are the things that bring my heart the most joy because A, it's things that I myself would wear and do wear. And it's things that I myself, like, especially for the body sprays and the bath salts and the things that I use for like home maintenance, I use those things for myself as well. And so being able to share with other people the things that I've found that like are really cool that I wasn't able to really find anywhere else. And it's kind of a bummer because wardrobe in life should be interesting and should be healthy. It should be intentional. It really, really should be intentional. And so to kind of bring it back to like, how are my goods sustainable on a regular basis whenever it costs like especially if it costs that little bit more is A, I have many price brackets. A lot of my like charm earrings that I can piece together for that little bit less and that relatively quick, I can charge at like $10-15 a pair. And that's including like the packaging that goes into it and all that. Um, with some of the bigger pieces, that's a gift to self or a gift to someone where it's like you see it, it resonates with you, that makes sense, you want it. I make these things for them to find a home. I make these things because someone out there is the person that has like that's who that's for. I don't know who these things are for. And I really enjoy when I get to meet the people that purchase them, that do take it home and are like, like this sits, this makes sense, this resonates, this makes me feel beautiful, this, incites a response, an emotional response within me. And that the whole like when I meet the people and I get to see the people at shows or at markets or on my whatever who want to buy one of my original paintings, like the ones that I have to charge the couple $100s for, and they're just like, this needs to be with me. Like that that does things. And in the beginning of my, especially 3 years ago, whenever I'd first started selling my artwork, I didn't have nearly the stock that I do now. I didn't have nearly the mass built. And so I would price some of my bigger original paintings down to like $88. And now thinking on it, oof. Especially knowing like, dude, you could have made prints. Like, but I those are the things that I'd learned from now. Those are the things that now going into this business, I understand that good deal better. And even still, my dear, dear friend and neighbor at the hippie hut, Sarah, she has told me a million times over I need to make prints, and she's even offered to make them for me for an amazing price. I haven't taken her up on that yet, so I'm gonna do that this week, or like this first month of the hippie hut, because that needs to happen. But now I can price my originals as originals. I can price my bigger works, my more, you know, my bigger projects. I can price those accordingly and start to make what I am worth. And as I even just starting that little bit last year, seeing how much more sustainable it is, not only for me, but for the whole thing. You know, ah, gratitude, just deepest gratitude. One of the biggest parts of my practice and my process has always been just exploring and experimenting and finding where it's meant to go. I stumbled upon this by accident. I stumbled upon, like, if you told me even 5 years ago that, like, I'd be super well known for arting and making jewelry and crochet and whatever instead of like tattooing and this journey that I've been on for so freaking long, and I was so headstrong that I'm like, gotta be this or that kind of person. I would have laughed 8 years ago, if not a little longer. I agreed not to kind of go back into a tattoo studio setting. I almost thought I was done tattooing. I took a year or two hiatus, and then I kind of realized, like, no, this is something I still enjoy doing, but I need to do it on my own terms. And only recently, having happened since that, has been finding jewelry or other means of kind of creating. Painting took a big step in the forefront whenever I stopped tattooing in shop. And it's because I wasn't trying to monetize my art. I wasn't just trying to make money or make art for the sake of making money. And that still isn't what I want to do. However, I recognize the importance of making money to sustain the whole journey, to be able to afford the $500 a month that I need outside of my normal rent, outside of my normal like insurance and groceries and gas and phone bills and daughter, and you know what I mean? To be able to sustain not only that, but then the supplies that I do need to buy. And beyond just the supplies, it's like bottles and paper bags and packaging tags and labels and stickers and oh my God, like the list goes on. And that's not even for the art stuff itself. You know what I mean? If I need to be able, like, if I want to be able to sustain that, I need to be able to kind of stand in my worth and enjoy the process. Because if I'm working just to work and just to make it happen and just to make money, then I may as well be at a fucking 9 to 5. I may as well be working for someone else making their millions instead again. Because it's just as soulless. It's just as monotonous. This, I can enjoy doing my taxes because it's like, even if it's stressful as all hell, and it is, I still get to say that's for me at the end of the day. And there's a certain level of pride and joy that gets taken in that. Would it help if I had an accountant? Absolutely. But I'm gonna wait until I make another couple dollar figures before I start thinking into that. In the meantime, I'm grateful to have the ability to do my own taxes. My mom used to be really freaking good. She did everybody's taxes in town. And she was really good at it. She was never audited. And when she was, she defended her position every fucking time. Every fucking time. Like, she was amazing with what she did. And she taught me a lot of what she knew in business. And I got to kind of be there at the forefront while she ran all of her different businesses. And that's something that now I get to kind of reflect in while I'm taking care of my own business, which is really nice. Being able to kind of walk into the studio, a little bit exhausted, but like I got my coffee in hand. I got, a little doobie. I got the house to myself. I'm going to listen to my audiobook after this. And I get to just do, like, and it's little tasks that I would have been doing for anywhere else. I used to work at Subway. Fucking Subway. I'm celiac. I literally was allergic to half the things around me. But as a single mom, I needed what I could get, and that was close. I didn't drive. And the owner, thankfully, would let me go on retreat whenever I needed to because he understood the purpose and the value in meditation and in yoga. And also, he let my daughter come in to work with me when I couldn't find a sitter, and she would hang out in the lobby. That's You can't, you got to take what you can get in those situations. And after that, it was sport check. And I loved those jobs for what they were and the people that were there. However, there were so many times where you're not able to properly express yourself. You're not able to properly defend or stand for yourself because it's somebody else's millions. And so your value as a human kind of takes second place to your value as an employee and your worth as an employee. And that's something that I just had a really hard time digesting for myself. And under survival, like, yeah, that worked for when I needed it to work. But eventually it stopped working. And the amount of panic attacks I was having, both in and outside of work as a result of work, the constant workload that was on not only my mind, but my body, and especially as my autoimmune condition was starting to really ramp up. Like, I needed to be able to focus on self. And I'm so glad that I did. I'm so glad that I struggled for those first 6 months to a year. And that my second year was as good as it was in doing this. And that now entering into my third year, I am beyond confident that it is everything and more I've been manifesting. Because not only is my first weekend a literal double, like, I've been saying I miss the chaos. I'm excited for the adventure, and I'm excited to travel and art and connect with people again, and just to be able to find those genuine connections again. And my first weekend was an accidental double book. And the grand opening here, Temp, my daughter, and Kyle, my partner, are going to be working the hippie hut here while I go to Renfrew, a couple towns over, about maybe an hour drive, 45 minutes. An hour. Anyway, decent drive away for a 2-day metaphysical event, which was one of my first big, like, heart opening in the art world things because I got to meet so many more of my people. And now I get to go and connect with so many more of my people as the first day back into the season while my partner and husband run the home base here. Like, literally all of it happening, all that I've been hoping for, all that I've been manifesting in the first day. And now I am 7 days away. I am officially 1 week away from the start of humble beginnings at the hippie hut, at the Petawawa Container Market, and the market life of traveling and arting and, like, car stocked full of art and Brooke stocked full of caffeine and dressed like something that just wandered out of a fairy tale. This is my life. This is my life. And I was excited about it, and I wanted to share it. And I was just kind of dragging my feet through it that little bit this morning and giggling at the same time because I can't be mad about it. I can't. And it's happening. I keep saying to myself and to my partner, I'm like, this is the year that I stop just making enough because we need more. I need more this year. Source is sourcing. And I know that this is the year that whatever's meant to come takes off. Everything that I've been after is boop, 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 boop. It feels like the start of the big leagues. And I don't know what that means, but I see the week being filled with a lot of adventure. Still a lot of gymming and a lot of art. A lot of art. And then the weekends are solely for sharing that art, working my station at the hippie hut, and for the times that I do have help at the hippie hut, which thankfully this year will be a lot, I get to go to see my other friends at markets and see my other friends in store and share and connect and trade and buy from those local friends that are so goddamn brilliant. Like, so brilliant. And just so committed to what they do. They have that same passion, that same drive where the 9 to 5 isn't enough. They understand. They understand. When you go to those local farmers markets, when you go to those craft stores or those craft shows, you will find so many people who have dropped the societal standard for what they see makes sense and for what they are just committing all of their time and energy to. And to see not just those like MLM vendors or whatever, but to see those artisans, those people who cultivate that practice, who work for those things, who work with those tools, and then they share it with you, usually at a price that doesn't reflect the work in the slightest. But you get it now, and that's yours. And actually, it's funny to see how many, like, even this pottery plate, I'm gonna hold half the things on it. Oops. I use it as a work tray. That was made from one of my dear friends, and I have big bowls from her, and I have trays, and, like, the pottery, like, I get that now. That's mine. They made that, and it's mine. They made that. That took them hours. Like, I can't even begin to tell, like, I don't even know what kind of emotion they were under. How heavy their heart was that they had to go and pour that out in the studio. I have no fucking idea how lost she felt when she made that goddess and then just blooded up her face. The passion, the prayer, like the story. You can't get that from fucking Temu. You cannot get that from Walmart. And while I'm not bashing either, I understand the need for, affordable. I do. Because that, yeah, financially makes a lot of fucking sense. And I'm that 80% of the time, sure. But even to 20% of the time, buy from people who give a shit. Anywho, I don't do as much arting when I talk, so I'm gonna go art and I'm gonna listen to my audiobook. And and I will keep putting the energy and the attention and intention that I do into Humble Beginnings. And I cannot wait to see all of you on the flip side. 7 days.